Well, hello everybody, and I'm back again. I promised you I would be coming on to cover a variety of topics. We had a kickoff the other night, and oh, by the way, I've named this great white microphone Snowball. As a matter of fact, that's its model number. It's a blue microphone brand Snowball, so we'll just call it the Great White Snowball. And one of the things that I've been hearing in the news that I wanted to comment on, albeit briefly today, is the fact that as the GOP and the Republican Party reconsiders its positions on a lot of these wedge issues that I believe have been costing the Republican Party dearly in election races, is the theme that the left will never let the Republican Party escape the labels of anti-woman, anti-Latino, anti-black, etc., etc., etc. And I've heard this come up, and I must say I do believe there will be an attempt to do that, because it's very easy to simply go out and demonize people when you've got that avenue available to you and there's some credibility. In fact, just yesterday I was watching the Fox News channel, and there was a debate, basically a liberal and a conservative, and they were talking about the GOP so-called war on women. And what was interesting to me was that while I'll say the woman representing the Republican Party and the conservative point of view said, well, during this general election campaign, you never actually heard Mitt Romney say that he was going to attack any woman's reproductive rights or abortion rights or access to birth control, etc., etc., etc. And the response from the Democrat woman who was engaged in this debate was, it really doesn't matter if the Republican candidate running for office says they're going to attack women's reproductive rights. There will always be some Republican somewhere who will say this, and we can go point to that person as being the real voice of the GOP and then use that as a hammer during the general election process. And, I was thinking to myself, well, okay, so that's a strategy basically. And then you can continue the template with anti-Latino, say anti-black, etc., 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 to attempt to demonize the opposition as a political strategy. Well, whether that's the strategy or not, there's nothing we can do about it in the Republican Party. If we do start reforming to have a broader tent where we are tolerant of people with various views on these wedge issues, or inclusive, not even tolerant, simply saying we have our economic libertarian values and we have our strong national security defense values, and we like free markets, but we're not going to get into these intensely personal issues, because after all, it's really anti-conservative and anti-libertarian to start controlling people's lives. We just have to do it and see what happens. We have to go out there, perhaps have candidates publicly take these stands, and see what happens. After a while, the message is going to stick. And if we truly reform the GOP, the message will get through. Okay? I'm not talking about coming up with a cynical political strategy that, say, you might get from a consultant like a Karl Rove or Dick Morris that says, well, let's go around and put anti-gay marriage or anti-abortion referenda on a whole bunch of ballot issues during a federal election to, drive wedge issue voters into the polls. No, I'm not talking about a strategy, and I just wanted to make that clear. I'm talking about true reform in which we take a much broader view, a much more liberal view, and I say liberal in the good sense, as being wide-ranging and broad-thinking and thoughtful, okay, as opposed to any liberal big L with a political connotation, to take a more liberal view and to simply reform the party and get a lot of these wedge issues certainly out of the national scene. Sorry for popping my hands into the screen there. I know you're not supposed to do that. So happens Laurie's here monitoring this, producing this, and she didn't see it happen, but I did pop my hands, and I'll try not to do that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if I pop my hands or not? Okay.
No.
All right, because when I went to some course in public speaking, I was told not to do that. So, but anyway, so having gotten my message across, I think I'm going to sign off for now and keep it short. And I'm probably going to get back to you next on energy policy and energy independence and my feelings as to where we go from here, and perhaps a change in atmosphere involving President Obama's view on hydrocarbon fuels, especially fracking and natural gas, and its utilization, because I think there's going to be a thaw in the chilly relationship between the Obama administration and the hydrocarbon industry, which would be very useful and very beneficial to the economy, but I'm going to save that till next time. Nevertheless, I am on the Mark Hamilton channel. Oh, yes. I believe so. All right. On YouTube.
Your username is youtube.com/user/the-right-report. And that's just how it is now, even though we did a name change.
Okay, and maybe we'll try to address things to make it easier. I did download a YouTube app for my new iPhone 5, and I'm going to weave in stories about my iPhone 5 as we go along. It's a great appliance. So I'm going to give Apple a plug here and say it's really good. So I just may throw some 1 or 2 minute blurbs up coming off my iPhone from time to time, too, in addition to this more formal setting behind the Great White Snowball. So anyway, for now, signing off, and talk to you later about energy and fracking. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.